أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars on Hidayat TV, and I'm your host Hassan Shah, and today we're continuing our topic on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this week trying to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ways we can understand him and ways we can get closer to him as well. So before we continue, I'd like to introduce our guests.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mr.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsin.
And thank you for the introduction. Okay, so last week I left you on a couple of things. Can you two give a recap of what we did talk about last week, or the last time we was on?
We was, if I'm not wrong, we was talking about God and his prophets, and touch briefly a bit on atheism, I think.
Okay, yeah. Misbah?
Were we talking about how Allah sent Anbiya to guide the people? So like prophets and imams, and he sent those people to guide us.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit about Anbiya, yeah. Okay, so we mentioned firstly, and some important things as well, was about Allah was about looking at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and understanding it, and also trying to think of ways and how okay, we look at the environment and we see and we look at these things and we think that there must be a creator, there must be a designer. How can we articulate, how can we talk about these things? Yeah, so I mentioned to a couple of you some arguments as well. We mentioned the design argument, didn't we?
Yeah.
And also we mentioned the cosmological argument as well, which we talked about as well. Yeah, so these are some proofs of God. Yeah, some logical proofs of God. So, and also I left you on another big note as well, on what Imam Ali alayhi salam said. Yeah, in one of his sermons, Nahjul Balagha 179. Yeah, where he talked about he doesn't see God with his eyes. Yeah, but he sees it through his heart. Yeah, and he talks about the creation and how he sees Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the creation. Yeah, and so looking at the creation is one thing, and how we can look at that and then know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so understand Allah, and then we can understand Allah through his, there's another way of saying this, and knowing Allah through his attributes, which we're going to mention and which we're going to start with now. So Mr. you've got the first thing, so can we start, Mr. Hafiz Allah salawat? Allahumma salli
Muhammad.
Tawheed is the essence of Islam and the first tree of religion. The Asul roots of religion are our core beliefs, which strengthen our faith. Tawheed is the belief that there is only one God, Allah. Surah Al-Ikhlas. Say He is Allah the One. Surah Al-Ikhlas describes the nature of Allah in a 4 short ayahs. Say He is Allah the One. Allah is unique. He begets not, nor is He begotten, and there is none like Him. Tawheed is understanding that Allah is not a body. He has no physical form and will never be seen. He is unique and he does not have any equal. Close your eyes and imagine you're in a forest. Tall green trees surround you. Bees are humming in and out of the delicate flowers blossoming across the floor of the forest. Birds are chirping from the branches high above, and the wind is whistling through the earthy air. As you lift your face upwards, the warm bright rays of the sun cover you, and you feel the intense heat of the sun coming through the gap between the leafy branches. Just as warmth and light are part of the sun's rays, Allah's attributes are part of Him. They belong totally to Him and cannot be separated from Him. He is that quality, and that quality is Him. When we feel the sun's heat through the warmth of its rays, we know that the sun is hot. Similarly, through Allah's attributes and names, we will come to know and understand Him more. Everything in creation reflects the beautiful names of Allah and His attributes. If we think back to the forest, it is only with the ears and eyes that Allah has blessed us with that we can hear the chirping birds and we can see the blossoming flowers. Our sight is a manifestation of Al-Basir, the all-seeing. Surah Al-Hajj. That is because Allah makes the night pass into the day and makes the day pass into the night, and verily Allah is all-hearing, all-seeing. Our sight is limited according to the ability we have been given by Allah, whereas His sight is unlimited, just as He Himself is unlimited. The attributes of Allah are countless. To recognize and know our Creator, we need to understand these qualities or attributes known as the Sifat. There are certain qualities that we cannot attribute to Allah. These include any attribute which is limiting in nature, because it can be proven rationally that Allah is limitless in every aspect. These attributes are known as as-sifat as-salbiyah, the attributes that Allah is not and never will be. Salawat.
Allahumma salli.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa sallam.
Thank you for that, Mr. So, Mohsin, what are some key things that Mr. went through?
She went over on the attribute of Allah, which is Tawheed, so the oneness of God, and how you can he doesn't need anything, but we need him, and so without him we're basically lost. And she was talking about his that he had the power to cross the day and the night, so night passes into day and day passes into night, and yeah, she was talking about the power and how much we need God, and the fact that God doesn't need anything.
Yeah, okay. So, Mr. started off with Tawheed, yeah? Where do we get this idea of Tawheed? What is one of the most simple ayats that we can take and the understanding from Tawheed from? What are surahs?
Surah,
What are the one? Yeah?
Surah Ikhlas.
Yeah, Surah Ikhlas. Yeah? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Yeah? Say Allah is one. Yeah, He's one. Allah is unique. He begets not. So, Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Yeah? He begets not, nor is begotten. Yeah? What does that statement mean?
So he wasn't created, so he doesn't have any like creator or parent, and he doesn't he doesn't have children or partners.
Yeah. So he wasn't born. Yeah. Or he. So there wasn't a point when he came into existence. There wasn't a single point where he came into. So he was never born, and he doesn't give birth. Yeah. He doesn't have any like relations like how we would think. So our parents, yeah, they were born, weren't they? Yeah. At one point they were
Yeah.
born, our parents, yeah, and we ourselves, we came at one point we was born, yeah. So Allah does not work like that. Yeah, He's not like us. Yeah. So, and there is none like Him. Then it finishes off, there is none like Him. So so it's how does that mean there's none like Allah? What does that mean? How can we think about this logic when we talk about there's nothing like Allah?
He's unique, so he's completely different to what we see like he's completely different to what we can imagine, basically.
Yeah. So if He begets not or is not begotten, that means He was always there. Yeah, He was always there, and that means when we talked about that idea on the last episode where we talked about the idea of infinite regression. Yeah, can you summarize that argument, infinite regression? Do you guys remember that? I gave you one example about the relay race.
Um,
Is it that there can't be anyone before him that created him, and it became like an infinite loop of who came first and what came first before the world to be created?
So if He was never begotten or is or does not beget, that means He was that starting point, that thing that ends the loop of infinite regression. He was the creator, the first point of where everything comes from. Yeah. So that means he's not like anything else. Yeah. There is none like Him. Yeah. If we believe that he was always there, he doesn't get nor is begotten. Yeah, He's the person who's he's the one that started everything, comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. That, and then we talk about there is none like him. Yeah, that means that he does not have a physical form. Yeah, Miss, would you understand how? What does that mean? Why will Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, why would He not have a physical form? I want people at home to think about this as well. It's an important point. Yeah, because if Allah Subhanahu wa Taala had a physical form, what would that mean?
That he's limited, and
Nah,
That
it,
he's
it gives Allah a limit,
yeah,
but Allah is luminous. So if we say
yeah.
he has a physical form, he's limited.
Mohsin, he has a physical body. Yeah, yeah. Mohsin has a physical body, and when we think about Mohsin has this physical body, that means his body takes up a certain amount of space, doesn't it? Yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
confined to space.
Yes, Mohsin's body takes up a certain amount of space, and then the rest of it, he's not. He doesn't take up that space. Yeah, and by putting Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in, by him having a physical form, yeah, we need to understand Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is unique. Every single creation um, uh, confines to a single space. Anything, any anything is put in a space. So Mohsin, he has a form, so he takes up a certain amount of space. Mister, you have a form, we take up a certain amount of space. The Earth, yeah, it takes up a certain amount of space. Atoms, they take up certain amount of space. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, who is unique and who has created all these things, we limit him by saying he has a physical form. Yeah, yeah, because that confines him to a place at one time. Yeah. So and then um what did you go on to there, Misbah, after you talked about Tawheed? See, just by talking about one surah, yeah, one really short surah, yeah, we get a lot to talk about, and we can talk about a lot more as well. Yeah. So, Misbah, what then did you go on to?
I
Um,
then get an example of a like forest and said to like imagine it and just how each part like the trees are part of the forest, Allah's attributes are part of Him, and then mention that how using God's power, of how He gave us eyes and ears that we can hear and see the things in those forests.
yeah. So, Allah's attributes, yeah, they're the things that we use to get to know Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. We can use His attributes to get to know Him. Yeah. So, uh, like He's given us sight, hasn't He? Yeah, He's given us sight. Yeah, and our sight is limited, isn't it? Yeah, Mr. talked about. Whereas the sight of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is different. His sight is unlimited. Yeah. And Allah's attributes that my miss will go on to are countless. Yeah. And what was the Arabic word that we talked about as his attributes? What can we say? What is the Arabic word? Miss,
Um,
you did mention it.
the sifat.
Yes, sifat. Yeah. Um, and these are obviously his attributes. Yeah, we can call it sifat. Yeah. So, but his attributes can be we can divide them. Yeah, we can look at the attributes of Allah in and we can divide them. Yeah. So um, Misbah, you did mention there are some attributes that Allah can never be attributed to. Yeah, there are some things that which Allah can't be attributed to. Yeah. So, and these are called, what are they called?
The sifat as-salbiya.
Yeah, sifat salbiya. Yeah. So these are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never be. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get into that as well. So and then what would be the opposite to that? If there are attributes that Allah can never be, yeah. So the translation of these, we talk about the sifat sabutiya, sifat salbiya, yeah. So we translate them as positive or negative attributes. So negative meaning that these are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never be, and obviously the positive ones. uh, Hopefully you can think about that there. Hopefully we'll get onto that as well. Yeah. So Mohsin, you've got the next thing, next thing. So we start Mohsin off with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Allah is not visible and never will be. Human beings, animals, plants, the moon, the stars, and all of creation can be seen with the eyes, even though some creatures are hard to see because they are very small or very far away. We can still see them through the help of special tools like microscopes and telescopes. Allah, however, cannot be seen with the eyes at all. He is not visible and never will be. In Naj Balagha, Sermon 49, Imam Ali salam says, he cannot be seen by the eye of an onlooker, but the eye which does not see him cannot deny his existence. The mind that accepts his existence cannot perceive him. He is so high. He is so high in magnificence that nothing can be more magnificent, more magnificent than him. Uh, that while in nearness he is so near that no one can be nearer than he. Imam Ali alayhi salam reminds us that Allah is so limitless and absolute that even those who believe in his existence and know him through his sifat will not be able to understand his essence completely. This is because we as Allah's creation are finite and limited, and so when we use the word to try to describe someone so amazing and unique such as Allah, they're just not enough. Yeah, Allah is so special that His greatness has no bounds. To remember that the qualities of Allah that we see are just a reflection of His greatness. We will not be able to fully understand His greatness. The Holy Quran narrates a story of Nabi Musa when he was when he asked to see Allah to show his people that he was not to show his people that he was not possible. And Allah responded by saying, "You shall never see me, but look at the mountain. If it remains firm in its place, then you will see me." So, when his Lord manifested His glory to the mountain, He leveled it, and Musa fell down in a swoon. And when he recovered, he said, "Glory be to you. I turn to you, and I am the first of the believers." Allah manifested a little of His power to the mountain, and the large mountain crumbled to dust in front of Nabi Musa. Musa experienced a small glimpse of Allah's glory, and as a result, he fell unconscious. On recovering, Nabi Musa acknowledged Allah's greatness and glory. This shows that even the Anbiya and the Amina were unable to physically see Allah with their eyes, but could perceive His greatness with their hearts. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
Muhammad
ali Muhammad wa ajil
Muhammad
faraj. So thank you for that, Mohsin. Yeah, mostly going into why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not visible and He will never be. Yeah. So some key and important points mentioned there from Mohsin. So Miss, you've got the next thing. So we can start us off with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
One day, a man called Abu Shakir, who was an atheist, accused Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi of making up stories about the existence of a God who cannot be seen. Imam alayhi asked Abu Shakir if he could see inside his own body, to which Abu Shakir replied that he could not. The following conversation then took place between Imam alayhi and Abu Shakir. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi, if you could see what is inside you, you would not have said you do not believe in Allah who cannot be seen. Abu then said, "What is the connection between seeing inside one's own body and the existence of your unseen Allah. Imam Jafar Sadiq then said, "You said that something which cannot be seen, touched, tasted, or heard does not exist." Abu Shakir then said, "Yes, I did, and I believe it to be true." Imam Jafar Sadiq, "Can you hear the sound of the movement of blood inside your body?" Abu Shakir then said, "No, does blood move in the body?" Imam Jafar Sadiq Islam said, "Yes, it does. It circulates around your whole body, and if it stops for a few minutes, you will die." Abu Shakir then said, "I cannot believe that blood moves in the body." Imam Jafar Sadiq Islam said, "Your ignorance does not let you believe that blood moves in the body or in the existence of Allah who cannot be seen." Imam al-Islam continued, "Have you seen the tiny living things that Allah has created within the body? It is because of these small creatures and their wonderful work that we are kept alive. They are so small that we cannot see them. Since you are a slave of your senses, you do not know about their existence. If you increase your knowledge and decrease your ignorance, you will learn that there are as many small beings within the body as there are particles of sand in the desert. These small creatures are born inside the body, they multiply in the body, work in the body, and die in the body, but we never see them or touch them or taste them or hear them in our lifetime. It is true that one who knows himself knows his Lord. If you had known yourself and had the knowledge of what is going on inside your body, you would not have said that you do not believe in Allah without seeing Him." Imam al-Islam then said, "O Shakir, I am too small and too weak to create Allah with my brain. He has created my brain so that I may think of Him and know Him as my creator. He was there before I came into being, and He will be there when I am no more. I do not mean that I would be totally destroyed. That I would be totally destroyed. Nothing in the universe is totally destroyed. Everything is subject to change. It is only Allah who does not change. Abu Shakir, do you now believe that Allah who cannot be seen does exist, and what you worship is the unseen Allah?" Abu Shakir replied, "I'm not yet convinced. I'm still not sure. I'm full of doubts about my faith and my beliefs." Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad wa Chuf.
And thank you for that, Misbah. Yeah, so a short story there from Misbah that actually gives us a lot, doesn't it? And pierces into um the greatness of our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as salam. Yeah, someone whose whose wiladat was both on 17th of Rabi al-Awwal as well. Yeah, when we were celebrating the birthday of the Holy Prophet, we are also celebrating and also remembering our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq. Yeah, so and when reading this story, we really think and how and then understand that how uh, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq taught all these great people to then who would make advancements in science, chemistry, physics, and all these other things, as well as Islamic sciences as well. Yeah. So some important points there mentioned most, and what were some key things mentioned from this conversation between uh, this atheist, isn't it, and Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam.
The key points were that the atheists refused to believe anything they couldn't see, hear, with his own senses. So if he couldn't perceive them, then he refused to believe they existed. And so then the Imam used the example of blood going around his body. And so then the atheists refused to believe that also. And so then the Imam said, if you get rid of your ignorance, then you'll be able to understand that just because you can't see something or sense it with the key five senses that you have, which is smell, touch, taste, see, and hear, then you'll be able to understand much more than what you already know, and so on.
Yeah. So Imam Jafar Sadiq, because obviously this is an example for the of this atheist that he's talking to. Just so we need to have this context that he's talking to a man who does not have a lot of knowledge. Obviously, yeah, he does not have a lot of knowledge. Yeah, and he's trying to and it's a good way of which Imam Jafar Sadiq is doing. He's putting it in the way of the people of the time, so they understand it, because it's obviously not they don't know maybe as much as what we know right now. Yeah. and also he's doing it in a way so that this person has will get the best understanding. So he talks about that he gives an example of, you can't see inside of your body, can you? Yeah, but he's explaining in this way that you can't see inside your body, but then you believe that all these systems and all these parts are they're in there. Yeah, how do you know if you're not looking inside your body right now? If you maybe your if your lung is there or your stomach is there, how do you know that? Because you're not looking at them right now, are you? Yeah, so it uses this example. Just because you can't see something, yeah, does not mean it's not there. Yeah. So but atheist still says, yeah, I do believe if I can't see it then it's not there. But obviously he don't obviously now we understand the air. We can't see the oxygen in the air, but we know it's there. Yeah. And then Imam Jafar Sadiq talking about the blood moving inside our body as well. Yeah, we don't have the sense to feel the blood moving around our body. Yeah, so we can't sense some things, but which it doesn't mean that it's not there. Yeah, and so and then and really points from Imam Jafar Sadiq, just talking, just the knowledge of this person, and it's obvious that it would be no other man at this time than to teach on the people who would make these sciences in the Islamic sciences and also the natural sciences as well. Yeah. So what does he then go on to? He talks about um, have you not seen the living things that Allah has created within your body? Yeah. What do we know now? That we are made up of all these so many different cells. Yeah. All these so many different organ systems. Yeah. Uh, and it's because of these small creatures. Yeah. That work in such wonderful ways that we are kept alive. Yeah. Mohsin, can you give it? What is Imam Jafar Sadiq talking about? He's talking in the way of the people of that time, obviously. Yeah. So, what is Imam Jafar Sadiq talking about there? About these small creatures that work so wonderful that they keep us alive.
The cells in your body, like for
Yeah.
example, blood, the red blood cells,
Yeah.
white blood cells, and
Yeah.
good
So we
bacteria,
got
bad bacteria.
yeah. So we've got so many small creatures, talking about the different cells that we have in our body. Like Moses said, red blood cells, which carry oxygen around our whole body. Yeah. White blood cells, which defend us against different pathogens that might enter our body. Yeah. So many different specialized cells that we have in our body for every different function that keep us alive. Yeah. The epithelial cells within our small intestine, yeah, which absorb all the nutrients from our food, yeah, so helps us keep alive. So all these different, like Imam Jafar said, these small creatures, yeah, and also the important bacteria in our small intestine as well, yeah. Um, so all these work in wonderful ways to keep you alive, yeah. So we don't know we're not looking inside our body now. We can even see these cells, yeah, working, but we believe we know that they're there, yeah, because otherwise we wouldn't be alive, yeah, and so really important. Just looking at the knowledge of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, and also the key points of how he makes us understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. So hopefully we'll just move on to the next thing now. Yeah. Uh, which we'll go on straight to Allah has guided us. Yeah. We'll go on to that and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided us. So hopefully you lot can bring that up now. Yeah. So Miss, have you got it? Because
Yeah.
we're moving on this for time. So Miss, can we start with the last salawat? اللهم صل على محمد
اللهم
وآل
صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
We studied in the previous lesson that the belief in Allah, justice of Allah, is on the root of our faith. Allah is Adil, meaning He is just, and as a result of His justice, He has always guided mankind towards Him. He has sent guidance to us in various forms, including Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Imamah, and the Quran. They are our maps and our guides to get to the right path. They help us in this life and in the hereafter. Imam Jafar Sadiq has explained that because Allah is wise, it is necessary for Allah to send Anbiya, prophets, and Rasul messengers who receive the divine book, who would communicate His laws to the people. They guide the people in the affairs that are beneficial and prevent them from those that cause everlasting misery. Imam Jafar Sadiq has also said, He sent the Anbiya to give glad tidings of salvation and to warn against His punishment, so that those who perish in disobedience must perish with the realization of their error, and all arguments must be exhausted for them. This means that before anyone is perished, they must have had the chance of knowing right from wrong, and they cannot have any excuse for their wrongdoing. If they have a legitimate excuse for what they did, then Allah will not allow them to be punished with eternal misery. Therefore, out of His grace and justice, Allah has ensured that everyone receives guidance, hidayah, to the right path. It is then up to us to decide whether we want to take the right path or not. Surah Al-Insan, indeed we have guided him to the way, be he grateful or ungrateful. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali
اللهم
Muhammad.
صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل
Thank you for that, Miss Baya. So we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Adil. Yeah, this is one of His attributes we can say. Yeah, that we talked about. Yeah, so we understand Allah for His attributes, don't we? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Adil. He's just. Yeah, we believe in Adala. Yeah. So the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to follow Him, doesn't He? Yeah. So this is the way we can understand Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to follow Him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. Yeah. So when we come about this question, what is the need for the Anbiya? Yeah. Or the divine guides given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. What are the needs of these? Yeah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is just. So we established that He is just, that's one of His attributes, and He wants us to follow Him. It would not be just of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ask you to follow Him when we are not given the guidance, we're not given the etiquette, the way to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. So this is the role of the Anbiya, yeah, and the divine guides sent to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. So one way, we're on this topic about understanding Allah, is that He has one way that He has sent us guides, yeah, Anbiya, so that we get our knowledge and guidance from. Yeah. So most of you got the next. So start Muslim off with Allah salawat. Allahumma salli ala
اللهم
Muhammad.
صل على محمد وعلى محمد وجل. Well, we have wrong person. Guidance from Allah ensures our understanding of God is correct and helps us to understand why He created and what our purpose in life should be. Since He is our creator and sustainer, does it not make sense that He should be the one to guide us? Then Allah sent the prophets as bearers of good news and warners, and He sent down wisdom, the book, with the truth, and that it may judge between the people concerning that about which they have differed. Even those who are good at heart wish to become better spiritually, and would need someone to guide them. A person who tries to find God on his or her own is only guessing, like a man fumbling in the dark without guidance. People's understanding of God is like a group of blind people trying to understand what an elephant looks like. The person who touches its trunk will say an elephant is like a big hosepipe. The person who is near to the foot of the elephant will say an elephant is like a tree trunk. The person near the tail of the elephant will say an elephant is like a tail, like a feather duster. And the person sitting on the elephant will say an elephant is like a mountain, while the person near its head and touching its ears will say an elephant is like a bird with two large wings that flap about. None of these are correct. The person who truly knows what an elephant looks like is the one who has seen it. Similarly, without divine guidance, everyone makes up their own understanding of God and the universe. Only a Nabi who communicates with Allah can really tell people the truth about Allah. In order for us to live life peacefully on earth and prepare for eternal life in the hereafter, laws must be established and upheld so that the rights of each individual person are preserved and there are no injustice in society. When these laws are made by people, there is always self-interest involved. Even if a group of people make decisions, the lack of knowledge of the future, as well as the lack of objectively understanding the true nature of a human being, that makes it impossible for them to come up with laws that are truly fair and just. Only the Creator can tell His creatures what's best for them. Uh, Whenever people live without divine guidance, are driven by greed and fear, and they don't give importance to knowledge. The rise in ignorance then encourages people to become superstitious about everything. When a human being does not fear Allah, he will fear anything else. Yeah, he will fear everything else, and a person who serves Allah is truly free, and no one can enslave them. But a person who rejects Allah will be a slave of everything else: wealth, career, relationships, total power and authority, and so on. The word hadi comes from the root word hada, which means to guide. Allah says in the Quran, Allah invites to the abode in peace, and He guides whomever He wishes to a straight path. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala
Muhammad wa
Muhammad. Yeah. So there Moses went over why do we need the Anbiya, why do we need this divine guidance? Yeah, because it gives us the true understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one key point. Yeah, and it gives us the laws of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to abide by. Yeah, and the last thing, it keeps us away from man-made beliefs. Yeah, of superstitious beliefs. Yeah, that will actually in turn take us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. Okay, so Miss B, you for the next thing, so start with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
In this verse, Allah tells us that He has revealed the Quran for our guidance. However, the Quran by itself is not sufficient. In order to understand the Quran correctly, you need Rasulullah and the Imam to explain to us. As an example, the Quran tells us to perform Salah, but it does not tell us the details of Salah. To get the details, we have to refer to the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam to guide us. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I leave among you two important things, the Book of Allah, the Quran, and my progeny. If you hold firmly to them, you shall never go astray, and these two shall never separate from each other till they meet at the heavenly fountain of Kauthar. In addition to revealing the Quran and sending the messengers and Imam to guide us, Allah has also given us an instinct fitrah. This fitrah is built into our consciousness and helps us differentiate right from wrong. Allah says in the Quran, so set your heart on the religion of the people of pure faith, the instinct, fitrah of Allah, according to which He originated mankind. There is no altering Allah's creation, that is the upright religion, but most people do not know. In other words, no matter what we do as human beings, we will always instinctively want to believe in God because that is how Allah made us, and the belief in Tawheed is built into us as a natural instinct. Salawat.
Allahumma salli.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
So thanks for that, Miss. So some important things about understanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also and how He helps us understand Him. Yeah, and how He has given us guidance to get closer and follow Him and understand Him as well. So we need to use these avenues, and hopefully we will get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is our ultimate goal in life, essentially. Yeah. So hopefully you learn a lot, most of Miss, but hopefully you at home learn a lot. I definitely learned a lot as well. So we'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.